This video is brought to you by the Glove Productions merch store. Why not buy yourself a crushingly future-proof t-shirt today? Enter Glove39 at checkout to get an error code. How to start a rugby match? Well, with a drop kick. Or, if you're feeling a little more retro, maybe by kicking off from a tee. Or, a pile of sand if you're more of a 90s child. Or, for a real old school vibe, a divot on the halfway line. Or, if you want to take things right back to the very beginning, you start a match by ruining a perfectly good game of football by picking up and running with the ball. However, fascinating as all these different topics are, that's not what today's video is about. Instead, I'm here to tell you a tale of fashion, folly, and a former PE teacher from Dundee. This is how not to start a rugby match. And let me set the scene. It's 2007, and Frank Haddon's Scotland kickoff for Six Nations campaign away to England. This goes as well as you'd imagine, however, they really aren't helped by the officials.
Yeah, right foot. Yeah, his right foot's down. No try. Marius, I have a decision.
The crowd are saying yes, but I think Donald Courtney will say no.
Award the try.
And I award the try.
Oh, no!
Dodgy call aside though, Scotland are soundly beaten and retreat to Murrayfield to face
Wales.
Now, having been shredded in southwest London, Haddon knows Scotland have to tighten up, and he does just that, overhauling the entire game plan, and the team produced the most conservative display Murrayfield has ever seen. Well, at least until this lot were allowed to hold a party conference at the ground several years later.
It's not every day an Englishman gets such applause at Murrayfield, so I remember actually the first time I came up to watch the rugby, I think it was 1990, and after England were soundly beaten, I remember walking back towards the city centre. We popped into a chip shop, and I'll never forget the beaming smile and face that met me and said, "What'll it be, lads? Humble pie?"
And just when you thought 1990 couldn't get any sweeter. Anyway, in scenes every bit as thrilling as a Tory party conference, 7 Chris Patterson penalties sealed the win in a tryless and excitement-free match, a game so dull there appears to have mercifully been a concerted effort from the powers that be to scrub all footage of it from existence. However, that being said, a win is a win, and suddenly things are looking up for Scotland, especially with 2 home games to follow, and especially with the next one being Italy. There's now a chance to really build some momentum and, who knows, maybe go to Paris on Super Saturday with something to play for. It's here that things get interesting, because for reasons that aren't entirely clear, Haddon decides to completely overhaul the entire game plan, again, this time throwing out the conservatism of 2 weeks ago in favour of something with a lot more attacking flair. Now why this happened is anyone's guess, but I think we can attribute it to 3 main factors. Number 1, after a win over Wales, spirits were high, and also allegedly consumed in vast quantities. Number 2, the number of weeks they had to prepare. A fortnight is a long time, far too long to simply spend practicing picking goals and one-out rugby. Thirdly, there's also the shirt factor. You see, behind the scenes, the boys at Canterbury had been busy. They'd got their thinking caps on and their felt tips out, and produced this thing.
Well, basically, I just copied the shirt we have now. And this racing stripe here, I feel is pretty sharp.
Well, Go Faster Stripes needed a Go Faster game plan, and that's exactly what Haddon had created. From it off, it would be all-out attack. We're going to give the Azeri the old razzle-dazzle. Nothing could go wrong. February 24th, 2:59 PM. The teams are out and the away shirt is looking fine. It's time to put the show on the road. You know, you almost have to feel sorry for Italians, totally unawares of the attacking masterclass they're about to get a crash course in. And we're off. Having won the coin toss, Italy elects to kick off, meaning that Scotland's hopes of bettering John Leslie's fastest try record of 10 seconds were dashed. But not to worry, because, ooh, what's this? A large and inviting gap behind the Italian defence of no sweeper? Why, it would be a shame if someone was to chip into that. ready the scoreboard and cue this celebratory music, Mr. PA Man. 7 points coming right up. Oh, bugger. That wasn't in the script. Still, no need to panic. With Italy's future greatest scrum half touching down after just 17 seconds, that still left almost an entire 80 minutes to rectify things. More than enough time. Just need to stick to the plan, trust in the system, keep things fast and loose, and the tries will come. 2 minutes later, line out just inside the Italian half, a perfect platform to build from. Godman again sees space beyond the Italian defence. His crossfield doesn't quite come off, and nor does his looping past the other side of the pitch, but this fast and loose style is starting to stretch the Italians. And when you look at that, numbers! How many numbers did Premier Sports get? I'm doing Jonathan Davis. A huge overlap, simply a question of putting the ball through the hands, or, alternatively, getting on the outside of Lucic over prop, isolating Scandavaca to create a 2-on-1, and sending Rob Dewey under the posts. Stand by the scoreboard and ready that try music, Mr. PA Man.
Simon Taylor. Giocata stretta e c'è Scandavaca! Che bello! 2 mete in 3 minuti!
Jesus Christ. 14-0 after 5 minutes. This really isn't going to plan. And at this point, a more cowardly coach and team might have been tempted to shrink down, to play within themselves, abandon the harem-scarum stuff and revert to the conservatism of a fortnight ago. But not this coach, and not this team. They weren't just going to throw away 2 weeks worth of fancy backs moves as if they were gift-wrapped tries. If at first you don't succeed, try, and try again. 90 seconds later, and Scotland find themselves in an almost identical position to a few minutes ago, a line-out just inside the Italian half. The whole width of the pitch with which to launch an attack. Time to finally pull off one of those moves they'd worked so hard on. Clean ball off the top. Custer to Godman. Back to Custer. On the loop to create the... Oh, for fuck's sake.
Non sembra vero, quasi 3 mete, 3 mete. Che Italia! Io ho niente da dire. Eccezionale.
21-0 down after 6 minutes. Murrayfield is stunned. The team is stunned. Frank Hadden deserved to be stunned. Now, in fairness to both Hadden and the team, they resist the urge to do the easy thing and simply let the ground swallow them up. And they managed to strike back the try of their own, although they're so shocked with something actually working for them that they almost forget to put the ball down, Rob. Yep, one of those days. Ironically though, mere seconds after a haunting shot, a perfect pass from Custer and line from Patterson gets Scotland back to within 7 with a quarter of a match to go. But it's all in vain. A couple more penalties and a late try from Peter Stringer's evil twin put the game way beyond reach as Italy romp home to a resounding 37-17 victory.
And history is made at Murrayfield. Their first away win at the Six Nations.
As for the aftermath, Italy backed up their win in Edinburgh by sucker-punching Wales in Rome in a match that will always be remembered as a timeless classic.
I have time. Oh, and that's it!
Meanwhile, still reeling from that implosion of a start, Scotland would go on to lose their remaining games and finish bottom of the table, whilst for years to come their fans would clench any time they tried to spread the ball wide. And with good reason too.
So the longer the pass, the more dread.
And as for those shirts, rumour has it they were rounded up and buried deep below the earth in an underground bunker, never to see the light of day again. Well, until Edinburgh's Hawaii kit was added in 2009. And then again several years later, when Glasgow's wee Willie Warrior made it onto the pile. The end. So, apologies for dredging up any past trauma, but weird enough, that's actually a video I wanted to make for quite a while now, because I guess watching Scotland currently in the Six Nations isn't painful enough. Either way, if you haven't already and you enjoyed that video, please give us a like and subscribe. I'm hoping to make more of them, and who knows, might even make something positive one day. Maybe. Anyway, for now, Cheers.